Hello, Security National. This is Greg Holcomb here. I'm district manager in North Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama. Today's subject is the iCare plan. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through how to fill out an iCare application. So as you see, the start of the application, we start with our first name and last name, middle initial if we have it. So we will go with Joe D. Dirt. And Joe is male. His date of birth is 10 to 1992. Make it easy. So Joe is 30 years old and he is 6 foot and 185 pounds. Next is his address, in which we would put his street address, his city, state, zip, and his birth state. We would also need to have Joe's telephone number. And so you'd have his telephone number there and his driver's license number, the state his license are issued in, and of course his social security number. Next is for the route sequence, route number and sequence number. This is to keep your debit in route order, making sure that you know where to go and collect Mr. Dirt from. Next, we have his occupation, the work phone number, and the name and address of his employer. We also need, over to the far side, his annual income, which we'll just say for this example is $35,000. Next, we go into our owner's information. If other than Joe, there's someone else going to be the owner and or payor, then we would key their information, or if we're doing a paper application, we fill that out here. From there, we go down to the primary beneficiary, which we will put Sally Dirt. That's going to be his wife. And so we just simply put wife. Wife is a relationship. If you have the other information, it's good to get it. And then contingent beneficiary, if something happened to both Joe and Sally at the same time, who would be the one to take care of this? Next, we have where we would put our face amount. So we're saying we're going to apply for $25,000. And that premium is going to be, let's say it'll be $26.71. And if we were going to add any of their children down as child riders, or if we were going to add accidental death, we would add that here. And we have for our request bill date, premium mode, whether we're going to do bank draft, direct monthly bill, debit or credit card, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. We'll go ahead and for this example, we'll say that Joe is going to have it drafted out of his account on the 15th, and Joe is going to pay by debit card. That way we can talk about that on the back as well. So the amount paid with application, this point we need to know that because we're saying it's going to be credit card, this is going to come out of Joe's account. So we would still need to go ahead and mark that here, but you are not, as agent, you don't have to collect this anymore. So this makes your job a little easier. He's going to know that it's going to draft out of his account once this application is submitted. And it won't draft again until the next due date. If it's within 20 days of the date that he has set for it to draft, then it will draft again this month. If that's over 20 days, then it won't draft again until the next month. So at the date of this example, it's the 11th. He wants it to draft on the 15th. As long as he's okay for us to go ahead and draft it now for this month, we're perfectly fine. And it will draft now, and he won't be due again once it issues. It won't be due again until September. Next questions that is often missed is the replacement question. So make sure that you mark no, that he is not replacing it. And for this example, we'll say no, he doesn't have any existing insurance either. So both questions will be answered no. Next, we have our proposed insured physician's name. If he does not have a doctor, then you can list not applicable or NA, but make sure that we know if he has a doctor, we have that information, because this policy will not go through if they don't have all the correct information. So you have the name, address, phone number of his doctor, and then the date and reason consulted with your physician. So the last time he went, what did he go for? Next question that's asked is nicotine or tobacco. Does he take that's not just smoker or non-smoker, it's tobacco or non-tobacco? So for the example, we're going to say that he does not take any tobacco products. You go to the next page. Again, we have to put his name and social at the top, and then we have a list of all the health questions. The one thing for you to note on the iCare is the product used for those that are in the best health. So as these questions go down, if you get a lot of yes answers, this may not be the product for you. You may need to move to the gap. Just make sure that you give the underwriters as much information as you can. If there are any yes answers, as you see down below, there's a place for us to list why we had a yes answer, what the medical condition was, what medicines they're taking, the dosage, and the duration. Just simply go through and make sure all the questions are answered and you get as much correct information as possible. This bottom section is if you're adding a child rider. These 14 different elements is what's going to be answered in the medical condition. So you'd list the child's name, ask each of these health questions. If any of them are yes, then you'd mark yes. More than likely, the child will be removed from this if they're a yes answer. Or if you put no, you'll go ahead and continue and put their birth date, age, gender, and relationship to the applicant. Moving to the next page, again, we put Joe Dirt at the top and his social. We have the city, state, and the date of which we completed this application. So we'll say Brandon, Mississippi. 8/11 of 2023. Next, we'll have print Joe's name. And we'll have Joe sign below. And of course, if there was a different owner and we had completed that on that first page, we would have the owner sign here. If Joe was a minor, we would have as the applicant, we would have them sign and put mother, father, whoever it is that was being the applicant. If Joe would have been under 18, again, our example here, Joe would have signed for himself. There's no owner. So the next line will be for us to sign our name, put either our billing or writing number, which is, again, that is our debit number for those of you that are used to this home service side. Then we have our agent statement, making sure that we correctly answered all this information and that we witnessed Joe's signature and that it will not change or replace any existing insurance. Again, we sign and we print and sign our name and put our debit number again. And as we move to the back page, this is for our authorization agreement. So we start with Joe's name and social at the top. There's nobody else listed as a payor, so we would put his information. So customer's name, his bank name, bank address. We were going to use a credit card, so we would have to put the credit card number, expiry date, and the code on the back. And there will be a place then for Joe to sign it one more time. We'll put Joe's name and then he will sign down here on the bottom. The bottom section will be our receipt that we took the application from Joe. I hope you're able to understand a little more about filling out the iCare application. Any questions that you have, please reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the Security Nationals YouTube page or whatever that you're watching this on. And always remember that we're here to help. Thanks for watching and happy selling.